few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. We've been doing this for 1,085 shows, so obviously precedents. Obviously everybody else is corking us. So thank you for, or no one even showed up. So I guess there's two people out there that showed up in spite of the corking, the temptation of the cork. Been around for a long time. But let's see, it is episode 1085. It is Friday, May something or another. I don't even know what day it is. May 15th. And that makes it Free Patch Friday. We've had a pretty decent Free Patch Friday today. Thank you to the people that have purchased stuff over at our store. That's how we attempt to stay in business. And is it even legal to say grow our projects? That would be awesome. So we're not at that point yet, but at least we're able to keep our head above water, and that's only with the help of your financial support. So we create crap and we sell it, and that allows us to keep doing the other stuff that I think is valuable. Hopefully our patrons think is valuable. So this Friday, we did a Free Patch Friday. I guess I could fart around. I could go look over at this screen. This Friday. How about, let me do what I want. El Pato just gave me some sort of, trying to bully me. I don't like to be bullied by a software. I'm not even paying for it. So anyhow, so we have a bunch of patches over here for Free Patch Friday. And this Friday is extra special because we also have the end of the poll. I don't know if it's actually over or not. If anybody's logged into Patreon, let me know. I've got too many screens open here to figure it out, but there's really no need to open it up. The mayor's leg has 50% of the votes. The other two only had 25 each. So it was pretty tied, 2-1, or whatever that ratio would be called, in favor of the mayor's leg. So I'll be letting everybody who is in the 500 club, I forget which it is. It's the 500 club on the gear websites and the 300 club on the Patreon, right? Probably should have just made it the 500 club on both or something. But I'll be letting everybody know who's in there, that you're in it. You already done it. Just thank you. And then, so you're all in the running. And then I guess I'll let people know, or if you know, or you suspect you're right next to it, you can get into the club by the end of the month, I guess. And then that would be awesome because that would bring more sales in, and that would be awesome. But that's really not the point. The point is that we wouldn't even be here. And with all the craziness that's going on, I do appreciate, I'm grateful that we have the ability to keep doing what we're doing. It's $1,000 a month coming in. So some of these people have been around for a long time, have hundreds of dollars invested in what we're doing. And I don't know if we're putting out the kind of product that everybody's looking for, but we can say thank you. And one of the ways that I would have to keep going is to sell stuff. So I don't even care about getting rid of guns. So hopefully somebody wants to be happy with a beat up lever action. And then we got the patches made today. We'll click over to that real quick. So we did that live earlier. Didn't we draw them live the other night? I don't think that was in this show. But we drew the cartoons of them live and then took that into the embroidery software. I think that was during the show last night. Then sewed them out. This one was too small. Wait, this isn't even the patches. This one was too small. It's over on the gear side. That's where they're at. Oh, somebody else purchasing something from the store. So thank you for doing that. When you do that while we're live, you get that little noise. In fact, that little noise happens in real life. If I'm just minding my business somewhere and that noise happens, it's awesome. So drew these cartoons of the 3 guns. We just had a poll. I think we also had the poll over on YouTube, so we can go see what the YouTube said. But anyway, we put made the cartoons, turned those into embroidery files, took those over to the machine and sewed them out. Knock on wood, they sewed out pretty good. They're not great. This is always what happens, especially when I don't have a hell of a lot of color palette and I didn't create a lot of colors in the design in the first place. I probably should have gone with a gray and maybe I don't even know if I should have used black at all on the Derringer. On this one, I'd probably do it I don't know. I almost need to go get a spool of like really dark gray, I think, to make these right. At least the Beretta, because that looks stupid in silver, really. But then this one came out okay, but it was way too small. So then I did it again. And what are these inches? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into both sides. So that's a 7-inch long patch. This one is the exact same size as the gun. This one ain't. But see, that one's basically the same size as the gun. So I'm pretty happy with that. It ain't perfect. Like that part is back too close. You know, that's not right. This was hard to do because I tried to do this in a type of stitch or whatever. And the grip came out kind of shitty. So I'll probably redo it. And then, like I say, either buy, I don't know. It would look cool to do it in all black, but you wouldn't know what it is unless you were squinting at it, right? Unless you were really up close, you would never see it. This one I think could come out pretty good though. If anybody's got one of the 22 revolvers that we did, you know, I did that one. It was the same thing, and it sewed out pretty close, pretty decent. So I think with the tweak of the colors, this one could be pretty cool. Anyway, so there, and then this could be stickers, I suppose. But anyway, that was just something to do for the people that, you know, whatever. So that's thank you to the people on Patreon, and that ended today. So I don't even think it was really a contest. Anybody out here? Well, Barbecue is joining us, and I really introduced you. Thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for the pick.
I don't know which one did you have skin in the game? Did you have? What would you think? Or the people that are out there joining us tonight, what did you think was going to win the? Well, that's where you could tell us what you thought was going to win the ball. So Barbecue's there, but he's not answering. But anybody can jump in. I send out links and email to people, and then send out. There's a link over on Patreon. I'm cutting you off. Which one did you think was going to
win? You cut out there when you started asking that question. So you started asking. You started to.
Okay, which one did you think was going to win?
Out of the 3 designs between the Mare's Leg, the Beretta, and the Derringer? I personally voted for the Derringer, but I figured it was probably going to be the Mare's Leg.
So we got lag, so we'll see if anybody else had a skin in the game with that one. And then we also got Free Patch Friday going on. So that was the exciting finale of the poll or whatever for the Patreons. And then I was going to see what YouTube said on the big channel. Let's go over to, was it community? Oh man, Mare's Leg beat it by 61%. Mare's Leg, 12% Minx, and 27% Cobra. There's no comments on it though, so interesting. So Mare's Leg for sure. Damn it, because as I've been fiddling with it, I've been like, oh, this thing's kind of neat. I should go out and shoot it or something. So let's go back to, it's also Free Patch Friday, and again, we're like I just mentioned, we're trying to do our thing with the Gear website store, mainly so I don't have to spend a whole bunch of time trying to butter you up to buy so much crap that I get a tiny little cut of it. I'm just not into that. It's not fun. So what is fun is working on 2A almost constantly, and I'm able to do that, at least what seems like almost constantly, due to the people purchasing stuff over at the store. So on Fridays, the way I say thanks is some of the off things like we'll talk about, and some of the things that are just not for production, we can say thanks with and give you that kind of stuff for free. And that's what we do on Fridays. So I'll hold a whole bunch of purchases over at the store. So what we'll do is the typical, if you purchase anything, you got a free patch, because that's how it works. But if you purchase more than like $25 worth of stuff, you're getting another free patch from us. And a couple of people bought a lot of stuff. So thank you very much. And of course, you guys know who you are if you're out there. I shouldn't say that, guys and girls. I am looking for sugar mamas. So don't feel like if you're a rich lady out there, old or young, I'm not even ageist, and you got a lot of money, somebody else's money, I don't even care. You just have access to a lot of money. You can buy a lot of stuff at the store. Yeah, do it. Anyway, so for the people that purchased a lot of stuff, you know who you are, and you can have as much stuff as you want, basically. And then Tim, who keeps purchasing the cartoons, which I suppose I should show the store since we could, right? One of the things we have over at the store is in a way to kind of fund the 2A history project would be to purchase cartoons, like sort of help progress the project. Where do I even have that? I guess I have it under products and under, for some reason I have it under services, I think. So that's probably one of the reasons I don't get anybody really taking advantage of it except for Foss out there. But he basically once a week, he'll go in and purchase one of these. So one of the projects we've been working on is a way to illustrate our history, the shoulders that we stand on. My personal, one of my frustrations is going to things like the Gun Rights Policy Conference or AmCon or SHOT Show, or you name the industry event where more than a couple of people gather. And if I'm there, I'm talking about 2A. And if 2A comes up and somebody will, eventually say, how come such and such isn't represented? And it's frustrating knowing that they've been represented for quite a long time, but perhaps ignored, perhaps they came and went, whatever. So we're trying to just illustrate where we come from. This is a real old picture, actually. This tree has been updated quite a bit since this version. But anyway, in order to keep that going, for $20, you can grab somebody from the list. And this is a little cheat because we're actually just trying to keep people's names out there, like people that have done interesting things for 2A, just a way to keep their names on the internet. But again, thanks to Foss for purchasing these things. And of course, if you want a free patch, you end up getting screwed because if I'm not sending anything to you, there's no envelope. I guess I should have kept that open. There's no envelope to send you. So you're welcome to as many free patches as you want. So I'm not sure. Do you have any ideas? Again, if you're a Patreon, feel free to jump in and be part of the chat. If you're watching live, hopefully you see that your chat is here on the screen, so you're part of the conversation. I'll drop the link to the store over here just so people have it. But any ideas on what order to go in? I guess they could just go in boring old order that they purchased stuff today. Let's see. Operate one of those little kids fishing galleries with a clothespin and a string over the shower curtain and have every prize. I'm not sure if I get that one. So clothespin and a string over the shower curtain. So like what you have to, if that's like casting or something, and then I've seen the ones where you have like a, I don't know, like a, I don't know if I've seen that one before. I guess you could use clothespins and some sort of cups or something like darts. Looks like everybody in here voted the mayor's leg, though. So there's a bunch of people showing up. Congratulations, you're not promoting the corking, the corkening, the weekly corkening too. If it's like an incident, that's one thing, but a weekly corkening, like just setting up shop, that's squat corking. It's even worse than regular corking. A wall, usually church. Little kids. I've probably seen it, but because something about that. But the what do you say when you said the shower curtain? That's what threw me for a loop. But I know what you're talking about because we used to have to run the stuff for, well, at least a long time ago, we have to run the stuff for Cub Scouts or something. So I'm familiar with all the like crazy stuff. Used to have things called Scoutoramas. What are they called? I think they were, how are they called? Once a year though, we'd have this thing and it was in a giant building. So it was indoors, but each troop would show up from the council and maybe it was even the whole district. So there was troops, you'd be in a, how are they called? You'd be in a pack, I guess, which are a bunch of little kids. And then each of those packs would be in a troop, and that's what would meet at a school or a church or something. And then, that would be a group of people that were friends and their parents all got along. So they're in a pack. You'd have a bunch of packs in a district. So that would be all the schools and churches and stuff in an area physically. And then you'd have districts, I don't know if it was bigger regions or some shit. And then at some level, we all got together occasionally to either compete with like first aid or, well, I don't know, just about everything, selling popcorn or, I don't know. That was about the main ones was first aid. But anyway, then we'd have I think it was called Scoutorama. And we'd get together once a year and it was sort of like a flea market or a fair and every troop would do something. And that's where like Cub Scouts would always do stuff like that because they're Cub Scouts. They're doing whatever their parents told them to do. But anyway, yeah. I don't have enough to do that. I do have some when we mass produce them, but not the stuff like what we're talking about here. So for the people that ain't watching what we're doing here, we got a screen up on here that's I took a picture of, instead of putting them all in Velcro today, they're just sitting on the board over there. But you've got a AK bayonet, one of the Type 1s that I found when I was selling stuff today. So I put some Velcro on the back of it. It's got black Velcro though. There's no more orange Velcro. We've got a couple of the Corona virus ones that are the full deluxe ones, the nicest ones. They were pretty much halfway made, and I was in there making these other ones, so I was able to finish those. I made that thing that's a piece of loop Velcro that I sewed hook Velcro to the back of, so you can take it and stick it on a patch panel, but you don't really lose the Velcro. It's just replacing the Velcro with black Velcro. But then there's a Gun Channel's G on it. So I don't know. I just made that one time and I finished it off. Saying something? Feel free to cut in.
I cleared my throat.
Oh, right on. So I don't know. You were saying something before and it wasn't coming through, so I just kept talking. But feel free to cut in anytime. Not really. My goal ain't to just blab here, but I do have to wait for everybody to kind of show up, give them a chance because we started kind of late. And then, like I say, I'm interested in trying to figure out a way to what order to end up or get people to vote. I guess I could just say free for all. The only person that really told me what they wanted was Chris, one of the Chris's, and he asked for stuff that's not on here. So he could still have the stuff he asked for, or you could go behind curtain number, whatever this is. This is what everybody else is going to be picking off of. So I'm kind of describing the stuff here. You got the one bayonet. I don't even think I got those from the store. Do I? I think I might have. No, I guess I never even put them on the store. I guess I should click on Kalashnikov and click on the right one. Next. So I leave everything that we've sold out of on there because why not? That way people can see what we've had in the past. Things like the Gun Channel stuff or the Every Second Matters. Those people might be interested in which ones they have or something. So to make that possible, we leave everything up there. So yeah, it looks like we had the patches up for 107. So we were selling them for 25 as a set, like 25 each as a set. I did, I tried to do a complete set. I did an AK-47 style bayonet, then the Type 1 like we got over here, the Type 2, and then a AK-74 style, but they're just a pain in the ass. They're really not, they take forever to sew, but then they're just a pain. Just sew them into a patch takes forever because they're just tedious. It would be neat if I had enough demand to try to make them mass produced because they probably wouldn't cost too much, but I suspect it would be the same thing. Like it's still going to take some machine or some human some amount of time because they're just so small and tedious to deal with that small Velcro and everything. Compared to like a square or a circle. I don't know if you've ever seen, I think we've posted the video of what it looks like when they sew the Velcro. But when they sell Velcro on like a square or a circle, they can just speed through them. Like they just, it doesn't even hardly take time because it's all just a cookie cutter kind of thing. They shove it into and the machine does it and all they have to do is keep the thing fed. Anyhow, these are the opposite. These are super pain in the ass. So you get one of those and that's rare because I don't even have them for myself anymore. I just found that thing because it's so small. It had just been kind of stuck somewhere. I found one of them FUs, so I put that up. I sewed the rest of that up. And it's usually I sewed those with white, but I'm out of white Velcro, so it's got black on the back, so it's a little bit different. That Kia is from BMC in New Mexico. And then we got a couple of, we got the green Ranger Eye. It was just laying around. Oh, that was on the patch panel, so I pulled it off of there. And then this one is a screw up, one that I had sewed, but then it came out wrong, so I just kind of made a one off. It's a weird material. We got the Spetsnaz machete, which I was planning on doing for a crowdfunding thing, but it failed, so I just had this one laying there as a sample. I don't know if I'll ever do those again. They're the same thing as the bayonets. They're a pain in the ass to sew together. Speaking of pain in the ass, you can see this one's even smaller. So this was the first lever action I did, and it was way too small. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would think at 5 inches long, right? Like this bayonet, 5 inches long. No, it's still a real pain to sew it. So anyway, that one's up there. That's the never going to be sewed again, probably. Found this thing at a shop in Wisconsin, so I finished sewing it off with Velcro on the back. This is just one of our Arizona shapes. 2A for CA is a place out of California. I think it's just a dude out of California. It's making an Instagram account, but usually it's pro 2A stuff. Anyway, I just grabbed a couple of patches off of the patch panel, and that was one of them. There's a name on here for people that don't give a shit about the rest of it. You got an Orange Life. Just playing around one time, I wrote Orange Life on there and made a patch. I don't know what this is. Some kind of little gun. Probably from SHOT Show or somebody gave it to me. I don't even know what it is. There's 3 of the targets there in the center that we made. I just like making those. I think they're cool as shit, but no, I don't know. It would be neat, I think, to make these as production runs, but it's a, I don't know what this is. Is this, what are these? I think, I don't know, I want to say FBI, but I don't think they are. This one, I think, I'm sure is FBI. And then this is IPSC or, some kind of competition one. And then we got one of the giant AKs on there, or a weird FU Media and America one that was off the patch panel. So that's the patches, and has anybody said what they wanted? No, I guess not. But yeah, with that, that's where we're at. We got anybody can do that. We could try to figure out if there's more than one people that want something, how to choose. But otherwise, let me know.
And those are for Free Patch Friday or for the patrons and the 500 Club and 300 Club, I should say.
Yeah, that stuff is later on in the month. Thanks. So yeah, that stuff today we just figured out it's going to be the mare's leg that goes out. So those patches are just to get ready for that event that'll be at the end of the month. So this is just for anybody who purchased stuff today. So there's 7 people out there. Or no, wait, then somebody just buy something. I should refresh the screen. So that might be 8 people that purchased something today. If you're watching, then feel free to grab something. That was Chris buying a second thing. So thanks for that. So again, anybody, I guess, since nobody's fighting over them, feel free to grab what you want. Otherwise, let's see, it's Friday and we're being corked. So I'm sure all the good topics are being sucked up like a vacuum cleaner out there. But if anybody wants to talk about anything, we can. Or just sit here silently.
Let's say I'd be interested in the mini mare's leg that you have up there.
Did you grab something today?
Yeah, I got that Old West set with the cow skull and the 2 Old West revolvers.
Oh, see, I don't know everybody's real name and shit. So
Let's say under Burger.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So yeah, man, anything you want. So you got that one for sure. Let me see. What I'll do is do this. Start writing this stuff down on a piece of paper. It's all just sitting over there. Okay, so Chris is saying request the target as a set. I had one. So yeah, you get as many as you want, Chris. So yeah, no problem. There's another one, right? I know I've done what do you call him? The guy from District 9, but I think I did another one too. So eventually I'll sew more of those. My problem is now I just use almost the rest of my white to make that mare's leg, the one for the Patreons later in the month. That was like, a strip that I had to cut one strip wide enough to do the mare's leg, and then I could cut it in half. So it'll do 2 mare's legs, and that's it. And then that was about 1/3 of all the white I got left. I refused to buy white from this place because I'm trying to find someplace else to buy it from. Basically, it costs money, and I don't like paying money for it. I know that it's just some material. I just got to figure out where to buy it from cheaper. So I haven't bought any, and I'm about out of white. So you'll notice everything's going to starting to get sewn on black probably because I got a lot of black and I got a lot of orange, or at least that's what I have left is those two colors. You don't even want to know how many FU medias there are. I've done a lot because that's one it's one of the few that I can do when like I've already done something on a piece of fabric and I'm too cheap to just take it off and start doing something else. So I'll sew an FU media anywhere. And then the machine will take a file and you can magnify it and you can shrink it. So you can, depending, the machine can kind of tweak up and down on its own without having to go in any kind of software. So I can do that and I'll make a FU like anywhere that it'll fit on a thing if I'm, got the time to do it because it's free, right? I can jam it somewhere. So the problem is that it's often like this one on yellow where it looks stupid on yellow. So I had to figure out, I was probably doing that one when I was doing Easter stuff, right? AK Pro stuff. So I made it in AK Pro colors. So I've got, I don't know, I think I have, how many would fit on if you'd look at a piece of paper, I have a piece of paper's worth. So like 8.5 by 11, however many that would be, like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe going across, and then 10 or 12 or I don't know, 15 going up and down, a whole bunch. So and I don't think any of them are the same. I have a ton of them. And then I've had them on the patch panel for a while. Like if I'll make 2 that are the same, I'll put one on the patch panel. So I know a couple of people have grabbed the weird color ones, but most of them I try to do in the normal colors, right? Because otherwise you can't really tell what it is. Cathartic? Nah, it's just I'm too cheap. It actually pain in the ass. If I had a machine that had all 3 colors in it, then I could just go, oh yeah, here, put it over here and walk away. But no, I have to actually sit there and change it from whatever color it was to red probably or blue, and then blue, then black, then red. So I have to do 3 color changes just to get a patch I don't even sell. But they're fun and I can stick them on here. So they're not really cathartic. They're just too cheap to throw away that little bit of fabric. How long did it take? It takes, I don't know. We were watching earlier, maybe a half an hour for the big ones. This pistol here probably took 20 minutes to actually sew all the stitches, but then it'll take another, hard to say because you have to do them in batches. You don't do one at a time, but you got to go through the process of doing the stuff to set everything and then cut it out and then edges and then sew the Velcro on and then tidy it up. And then all along there's different things that happen and it gets weird and just fucking around with it. It always takes a while. So I don't do them. I don't do them for a living. So it's not like I'm perfect at it. So I usually sew them and then do, finish a whole bunch of them. So it's hard to say. It just depends on how tedious they are. And pretty much the smaller they are, the longer they take. It's actually the opposite that you would think. Because when they're big, they're easy to deal with, especially if it's like a big circle. Like that's probably the easiest. You just watch it do its thing for a long time. You sew a big circle. So it's pretty easy. Any of these things that are weird take forever. But anyway, and then that's the sewing. You can kind of just tell by looking at them. If they got a lot of stuff going on, they take longer than like that one here that's just a target. That takes some amount of time, but unless the thread breaks, you don't have to really do anything. You just walk away from that one. But something maybe like this one with all the white, I don't know how to make the machine file good, so it might break all the time. I might have to sit there. That one, maybe not, but you know what I mean? I might have a design somewhere where the way that it makes a turn or something breaks a needle or screws up the thread, so I have to sit there and get ready for it and then fix it. It would be different if you had like the real machines, because I watch the people that are making t-shirts or hats and stuff. Those machines are just at a different level. I don't think they needles and they don't get jammed up. They're just like a semi truck and a economy car, just a big. They're just made to run. So we got Chris has the set, and then Barbecue wanted. You want anything? You can have as many as you want to. You don't want any, or if you want to wait for other people. I don't know if anybody else is going to show up.
So it just surprised me how much. Let's say just figured the mare's leg would go along with the theme of everything else I ordered today.
Because it's always, especially when somebody's ordered a couple of things, like when I look at this, because the cart will tell me if somebody's ordered stuff more than once. So I'll look, and if they've only ordered one thing, right, I can look at their other order, and let's say they ordered something, now they're ordering something else. So I can go, they probably don't got this, and then I can give them their free patch, right? Pretty easy. But when somebody's ordered a bunch of shit, like, do I give them an orange every second matters? I don't know. Maybe they already have 3 of these, and I'm giving them the third one, you know, so. I try to keep some kind of concept of which one's going out to who, but it's way easier actually when I do this. So don't feel at all like, you know, you can email me if you don't want to do it out loud or whatever, but you know, you don't feel bad at all about letting me know which patch you're interested in. It actually helps a lot. So I know that I'm getting you one that, you know, is filling out a collection or you're actually interested in.
Do you have an order every second matters one? Let's say, because I actually like all those ones. I was actually going to be probably ordering some of those later on again.
Yeah, you want an orange every second matters?
Yeah, sure.
I think I have one. Yeah. And then I see that Fine Ape is out there and Trucker's out there. And I don't know if I said Squealer before. First while. Says we got 10 people, so thanks again for the people that choose not to cork. Corking is people do it, but it's shameful. I'm surprised no one has picked either of the bayonets. I'm totally with my pick, just surprised. Maybe they already got them or they don't care. Really not that good. They look kind of interesting, but when you hold them in your hand, that's another reason I don't bother with them. They're not as big as your finger. They're little, right? They look like a big pen or something. They look tiny. So it's something about, you know, a big square looks better to your eye or something. They look okay on a picture like this, but trust me, I just don't think that nobody would be really satisfied paying $12 for such a tiny thing if they were, you know, trying to fill up a patch panel or something. Because I would probably have to make it as big as that big ass AK or closer because they're not wide enough. Or maybe that's what I was thinking. I was talking about that the other day, right? Like exaggerating these things. I could make the mares like a lot fatter, and it would be not only a lot easier to sew, but it would also look like something. Like I think even if I would have sewn this thing better with the lever being a different color, because I made the lever black, I wasn't thinking. It would have still looked kind of tedious, you know, if I had fattened it up a little bit and exaggerated the size of the lever and made the stock and the grip and everything a bit fatter, like a cartoon. It'd probably look better as a patch. And if I fattened up the bayonets, I think they'd look better. They wouldn't look accurate anymore, but they'd look better. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's not like anybody's selling bayonet patches out there. I'm not going to check emails on live here because I don't want anybody's emails that went out there. But when you guys order stuff, is there a place on there where you can make a note? There's not, right? I don't really see notes from people. I've been trying to figure out how to add that feature to the store. Maybe I have to remember. Because that would make Free Patch Friday a whole different level if people could, you know. I guess I could do something like this as a drop down. Just make it once you wonder if I can make it where like, oh, I guess I could say every purchase, just add it as a 0. And then if everyone, you can only put, can I make it 1 per order? I bet you I could make it 1 per order. And then once it's gone, it's gone. Maybe next Friday I'll try that. I'll try adding Free Patch Friday as a 0 cost option. And then that way people can just pick it from a drop down. Actually, that'd be kind of neat. And then it would record each week what the Free Patch Friday stuff was. It's pretty neat. Yeah, so I'll try to put a mix on here. Now, here's the other thing. If somebody was looking for something specific off of one of the old Free Patch Fridays, if Food still got it, it's yours. I just put this stuff on here to have sort of a different flavor and a little different mix or whatever. Something that I could put on one screen. I was just thinking it might be getting annoying to have 5 or 6 pages worth of patches to dig through every time. who knows what people are really interested in. So I just did this as a 1-page thing, but definitely not limited to it. Yeah, I don't think there is either. A special thing. I think I tried looking for it one time. I even asked Angelina if she knew how to get one on her store. For whatever reason, the service that we're using doesn't have it, doesn't offer it. Or if they do, it's some kind of paid feature I'm not paying for. All right, well, with that, I guess we'll jump over to the gun calendar. I like to do that. Keep an eye on what's going on in the world. Or what happened in the world, I guess, is really what's going on. And this is, today was U.S. versus Miller. Shitty 1939. It's basically pro-gun, but it's pro-gun defending racist fucking assholes. So it's shitty. And the other side uses it as justification for the a gun prohibition. So it's just a shitty law. And it's the NFA's fault. If the NFA didn't happen, then this wouldn't happen. So this is just one of the shitty results of the NFA, even though this is super shitty. And I don't want to take away from it being a shitty situation. But I've spent, I don't know how many years, doing these things where we look back. This is one of the oldest ones because it's such a weird one. So I think maybe like 2011 when I first started doing this kind of looking back at federal laws and historic stuff. And I started to do it either on the date of the anniversary or maybe once a week or something I would do them. That's one that started, just the quagmire, or I don't know what to call it, interest, but like the what's the word for it? Like it's almost an obligation. Like you figuring out things like Miller, you start to figure out, damn it, it's not just all black and white. You don't get to just go pro Second Amendment, 1776, I'm right, you're wrong, done. There's some fucking nuance to it. And if you really want to succeed, if we really want to do something different, I think this is one of those ones that got me to figure out, damn, like it's just going to be difficult. You have to actually pay attention to this shit and actually dig in, because it's not ours, it's not theirs. It's a shitty shit right in the middle, and everybody walks away smelling from it, and we both kind of walk away acting like we won from it too, which is weird and shitty. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. Like I say, I've been doing this for a long time, and there's been years where we've had massive audiences of stuff, but I'm not going to talk to nobody about it. So feel free to jump in. We can have a long discussion about it, but I'm not going to just talk about it to the world, or to the air, to the wall here. Let's see. Then we got tomorrow, silencer for firearms is patented, and that's that other guy besides Maxim. I guess turns out it's a year later, so it took me a while to figure that out. This weekend would have been that Colorado's gun show. That'll be coming up later, I think, in August. And that's about it. That's all I had on the calendar this month, or this weekend, I guess, from this month. Not seeing anybody chat over here, so I don't want to keep everybody awake or nothing. Anything else from your end, Barbecue? I appreciate you jumping in every day, but obviously you're not here to hold the whole show yourself either.
No, I say I try and find things to bring to the table and talk about, but I don't ever seem to have too much luck. Like today, I saw a thing that the House passed $3 trillion stimulus bill. Couldn't get it. So I went to the Senate now, but as to what pertains to how money's getting divvied out or anything like that, I don't have to.
It broke up a little bit, but you were good, clear up until going to the Senate, and then I guess what you were saying was the results of it going to the Senate.
Yeah, I say I'm pretty sure it's got to go to the Senate now, which I don't know what the odds of it passing in the Senate are, but I was trying to open up the link to see what the details are on it and how the funds are supposed to be allocated and all that fun jazz, and I couldn't get the link to open, so the only thing I know is that it passed the House today.
Right on. I was listening to the radio for a good while because I don't know what happened. I plugged in a one iron that I got and walked back, and like a circuit was out, kinda. So I don't know if maybe it was a load that was too much and it was hovering or something. But whenever I unplugged the iron, everything went back. But I couldn't plug the iron in, so I had to kind of run an extension cord from somewhere else. And that meant I had to have a radio on. And I was listening to the radio for a while where I normally wouldn't. And it was, I think it was live. And it was Trump talking about whatever. Maybe does he do a daily update now on this whole Corona thing? So it seemed like some sort of a, update that he'd definitely been familiar with doing more than once, right? But they didn't talk too much about that specifically, I guess. Well, a little bit. They said something about it was more like he didn't say nothing about it, but then talking heads or like the news people's framework or evaluation of what he just said, they mentioned something about it, but more like what you're saying, like they're what is it? The House won't even consider it or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So Trucker's saying he been up nearly 24 hours, spent 6 hours broken down. Oh yeah, you're on there to be able to stay in that. So 6 hours broken down, that can suck. It probably sucks different if you're on the job versus in your own vehicle or something or on vacation or something like that. So hopefully it was on the job where you're just getting paid to sit on the side of the road or something. But yeah, that's always a no.
Company driver though, if he's an owner operator, that's just all money being lost.
Yeah, when you're eating it, that sucks worse. Yeah, that's even just having a bad day.
And say there is nothing worse than getting broke down. And say I was a company driver and we were always switching trailers. And I mean, if I wanted to, I could have pretty much put every trailer that I got out of service because guys just weren't doing their jobs. And every once in a while, you'd be dragging one of those crappy trailers down the road and have something blow out like a tire or the spring. And say you'd be sitting there for hours. I mean,
You're on your phone still?
Is it?
You're on your phone?
What's that?
Are you on your phone?
$10 an hour for broke. Am I getting back in?
Okay, so we lost you a while ago when so what I'm thinking though, if you're on your phone, just pause. Because what happens a lot of times is the stream gets lost and then it tries to buffer and loses you. So if you pause every once in a while, it allows the buffer to kind of catch up. But yeah, we lost you when you said something about the tire.
Yeah, you have a tire blowout or something, and then you're sitting there on the side of the road, and you're getting paid $10 an hour versus if you're making 50 cents a mile. So you'd be making $30 an hour run, roughly.
Oh, I never thought about
it. It's just a huge pay loss.
So that makes sense.
And a lot of companies
kind of cut in and out there, and then you dropped and came back.
So a lot of companies won't pay you breakdown time for the first 2 hours. So the first 2 hours you're sitting there, you're making absolutely nothing.
Okay, yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, that makes sense. So that you don't intentionally just take a paid break, right, or something, or not pay attention to something when you head out, and cause a problem or let a problem happen. Yes, right. Yeah. But yeah, that can eat you when you didn't neglect nothing, but you still got wailed on, and then or something else that's out of your control happens. That's frustrating as shit, I bet. But it's one of the things in the long run. I mean, what the hell? The company can't always fight it. Otherwise, you're going to get some jerk who just takes a break every day and says he's had a blowout or whatever, right? There's just people that are going to be like that.
Well, there's like if it's a blown tire, there's ways to solve that problem. I mean, the company that I worked for, they would get a deposit or some crap on all the blown out tires. So if I had a blowout, I had to strap it to my catwalk or the nose of my flatbed and haul it back to the nearest terminal whenever I was going through one.
I was looking, I don't know if it's into a trucking, but I found oh. So let's see, there was oh, I don't think Trucker's not the one talking. Barbecue is talking. Trucker is the one in the chat, and you're just both have experience trucking. I think you're retired or you're not trucking right now. Barbecue.
Let's say the government took my driver's license because of my vision. And say I'm legally blind now, so kind of frowned upon having me drive.
You figure what'll happen first? You'll get like a deal like what Jordy's got, where you put on a visor and you got replaced with like some kind of other spectrums that plug right into your brain or something, or maybe through your whatever version of optic cords, because they can retrain an optic cord. I don't know, whatever everybody's got their thing, but let's say make you bionic sight work, or will it be like a robot truck or a robot car where you can just tell it where you want to go and it doesn't matter if you can see where you're going or not because the robot car will take you there? Which do you think will happen first?
Honestly, the self-driving trucks they're testing out in a lot of areas now. Well, shoot, they were testing them out like 2 years ago, but they were having some issues. I think one of them had gotten in a pretty bad accident. Somebody died in that one. So they went back to the drawing boards and whatnot. But those self-driving trucks are definitely going to be coming, I'd say probably in the next decade or so. But the problem is you still have to have somebody inside the cab just to, override it if something malfunctions.
Yeah. So, but the other side of it is I seen a thing where I can't remember now what it was, but let's say somebody had lost, and I don't think it was even a kid. I think it was just somebody had lost a sense. I don't remember if it was sight or hearing, or I don't think it was smell. It was probably sight or hearing. And they put a device in them or on them or whatever so that it would stimulate the other. So it would either look and provide sound or it would hear and provide vision. And whichever way it was, what happened is the brain just figured out. So it took a minute. Like the brain took a while to figure it out, but after a while, the brain accomplished how to use the sensory input sensory object as the organic sensory object that was missing. So that's where I thought that was pretty interesting. And this was, whatever, it was maybe like a TED Talks type of shit or like a YouTube video. So it was nothing super special, but I'd already seen it. So I figure if I'm watching it, unless it was fake, then real science has to be somewhere beyond that. So I'm just guessing that it's not out of the question if we're going to have something that'll enhance people back to having, some version of whatever the hell they might be.
Yeah, I just saw Joe Rogan video on YouTube where he was talking to Elon Musk about something like that, and what they're talking about is basically they would put 2 electrodes into your brain wherever the affected area is, and whenever you would start having an issue, say it's vision or epilepsy or whatever the case may be, this unit would detect it immediately and send electrical impulse and interrupt that and correct the issue. It was pretty neat sounding, but Elon Musk in that interview, I think he said they're probably 5 to 10 years off from doing anything on humans with it yet.
Interesting. Self-driving trucks. What's wrong with trains? Nothing. I think we need to mess with our infrastructure too. Somebody was giving Trump shit because we don't have rocket trains or whatever. So what's everybody's opinion on having some sort of super rocket train that goes back and forth? I think it'd be cool to have I'd want to have a north and a south, maybe even a middle. One across I-10, one at maybe Colorado Springs or Denver level, like right in the middle of the country, and then one up by Canada, right? And have just a east-west rocket train. I think that'd be the shit. Maybe I suppose a couple of north-south ones just to tie them together in a couple of places. Well, probably Denver, and you could shove one up from Phoenix through Salt Lake City. Go up from California through the valleys of California and Oregon and shit. So they, you pretty much make themselves. I think that'd be pretty neat. And then there'd be new opportunities at those hubs. At those hubs is where you put your sky tubes that go up into space. I think trucks can go to more places than trains, storage infrastructure, more payload. Yeah, trains just give you the ability to, like we're saying, just do it automatically, pretty much. Especially if you put some sort of cool force field or make them tunnels, or what do you call them? Yeah, tunnels underground. Maybe not like enclosed tunnels, but like what would you call that? Just like a gutter, I don't know what to call that, a channel. I don't know what to call it. An open ceiling tube with a fence so people don't fall in there. But that way roads and shit could go right over the top of it. You need Chinese technology. What? It's crazy. Flying cars in 15. I don't know. We got some amount of flying stuff, but yeah, not flying. Not everybody. I don't know.
The problem with flying cars.
Go ahead.
Problem with flying cars is people don't take care of the vehicles that they have now. And because of that, all of a sudden, you'll see something sitting on the side of the road. Well, if people aren't taking care of their flying car, what's going to happen? It's just going to fall out of the sky.
Well, you know how there's like magnetism, and then like naturally, like you can have regular magnetite and stuff that will attract steel and stuff like that. Like there's regular magnetism, and then you can do things to magnets, smash them or wiggle them or do things to them, and then they're even stronger magnets. And then you can run electricity around a piece of metal, and you can create an even stronger magnet. I think that if you look at something like the sand, what is the thing that Luke Skywalker jumps around on in the beginning of Star Wars? Is that the sand speeder? Where him and Ben Kenobi and the robots are driving around on it.
Yeah.
I don't know the story of Star Wars, but I assumed when I was playing with that used something to the effect of an electromagnet, where there was something that was gravity, and then there's this thing that's anti-gravity, maybe some pebble or some rock somewhere that kind of floats almost. But then if you apply electricity to that rock that almost floats, all of a sudden you can stand on it. Like now it's a really strong piece of anti-gravity, but not so much anti-gravity that it shoots off into space or nothing. So I kind of figure what we're going to end up with is something where we go, oh shit, it's that easy. And all you got to do is like apply solar power to some crystal. And all of a sudden, we like anti-gravity hand truck is $15 at Harbor Freight, because it's literally like a silicone crystal with light applied to it. Because that's how the Egyptians figured all that shit out. How do you think like all over the world, everybody figured out how to carry around giant rocks? It had to be super simple, like just kind of some dumb thing. And then everybody's like, God dang it. So I think once we got anti-gravity, where we just build a car that doesn't hit the ground, because it doesn't, it's just like two magnets don't hit each other. That's how you get rocket cars and shit, where the rocket part of the anti-gravity part isn't a machine. It just happens. It's just some physical force. The machine is just making it scoot around. So that way it's super safe. And whenever your machine breaks, you just sit there. You just hover there. I think that's how it's going to end up being.
It'd be interesting. Let's say, I'm curious though, because I mean, if you're falling a couple 100 feet out of the sky, you're obviously going to have a lot of acceleration. So,
well, that's the thing. If a rocket car is, like in Star Wars, where it's foot off the ground, it's just enough that you can not have to worry about a curb or a rock. But yeah, if you fall off of it, it's the same as falling off a car or something. Because that's the thing. I don't think anti-gravity that people are going to use for $15 or a couple $100 in a car instead of a wheel are going to be super strong. Where, like I say, like there's a danger of it throwing you off into space or anything. It's just going to be like a hoverboard in Back to the Future.
That's what I say. Just like the
when you watch like those what do you call them? The drones, the quad drones, where they got 4 different propellers. You ever seen one of those when they put too much weight on it, or if you put the wrong kind of blades on it, or like insufficient RPMs of the motors? You can, most of the time, no matter what, you can get the thing to scoot around because there's a certain amount of wind that blows, and just the wind alone will move it around on the ground. But that ground effect happens until it actually has the right numbers, until all the equations are right. That thing isn't going to just pick up itself in air and hold itself, right? It's got to be light enough, and it's got to have enough pitch, and it's got to be grabbing enough air to like hold itself up with those 4 props. So that ground effect, where you can take a lawnmower, a leaf blower, and potentially balance it all, and it'll hover itself on the ground, but it's not a rocket. It'll be something like that. There'll be some sort of like ground effect, like gravity effect, where the solar crystals will work when you're 2 inches off the ground. But as soon as you get to 2 feet off the ground, you need like an aircraft carrier worth of power to make it happen. It'll be some sort of a trick like that where, it's not like we're flying into space with it, but all of a sudden, if my grandma wants to move her piano, she just go grabs her crystals or something. Or it'll be robots. Maybe they just built giant freaking
it'd be interesting.
robots. We don't know. If they made robots out of like bamboo and freaking wicker or something, then they would have just been eaten up by the elements. They could have had giant robots doing all their moving around rocks. We have that movie Pacific Coast. Wait, how's it called? Pacific something, where they fight giant robots against dinosaurs. And imagine giant robots like that made of like an old samurai suit armor made out of wicker and bug shellac and I don't know, probably some diamonds, but they would reuse the diamonds for something else when it fell apart. The robot drivers from Total Recall. You're talking about the new Total Recall or the old one, like the taxi cab guy from the first Total Recall, where he's like half built into the front of the car? I don't want that kind. Because then you can't drive the car ever. You want the kind that get the hell out of your car so you can at least drive it once in a while. Going back to the bullet train, I don't think we need to have a bullet train. Like I said, I think just having, something, I don't think it'd be that bad of a deal to figure out some way to pay for a set of trains, even if it's not as elaborate as I just said, just have 1 or 2 just to do a project. It's not like it's bad infrastructure. What the hell's wrong with having a train that goes back and forth? But maybe like a big loop train, that might be neat, like some sort of a big loop or figure 8 that would encourage traveling. Something that's like equivalent of like what am I trying to think of? Like one of the military boats, cruise ships. Not so much in size, but just like you get on it and it's a vacation. You're having some, fun food to eat. You're on those double-decker things with the skylights and stuff, so you can see all the grandeur of like all the different national parks or some shit, or the plains or the coasts or whatever. Drive on all the neat places. That'd be kind of neat. or have it go underground for all the boring stuff, and then it rocket trains through all the boring shit underneath all the farms and shit, comes back up, sees something interesting, shoots underground, goes underneath all the stupid cities and crap, comes back up, sees something spectacular, takes you like 45 minutes to go around the whole country because it's a bullet train. Well, I guess I'm going back to a bullet train there. But if you made it slow and you didn't make it go underneath tunnels, then it could be, I don't know, I guess it would be a hell of a lot of money. And nobody would do it, probably. Nobody likes getting on those trains. All right, well, so we're at an hour. We're hovering at 9. So obviously we're not able to keep up with the Clerkin. Clerkin is just pummeling us. So somehow managed to get through 1,000-something episodes. We'll find it somewhere to keep going, and we'll be back for 1,086 next week, I think. And if you are out there and you were just shy, or you missed it, you thought it was actually at 1 a.m. or something, then feel free to let me know. I usually ship stuff on Saturday, though. So if I don't already know what you're looking for, I'll probably just pick something randomly and send that out to you. But otherwise, thanks to everybody who purchased stuff at the store. It means a lot, and it lets us keep doing what we're doing. All kinds of interesting things to go on, and are happy to be able to work on it. Barbecue, you got anything else before we get out?
Nothing. I say just thanks for the Patreon link like usual.
Yeah, again, thanks for jumping in. I guess maybe people will start jumping in, maybe not, but at least they'll have the option for a bit here. And yeah, thanks for taking advantage of it and letting people know they can be part of that and be part of this conversation live like that. Otherwise, thanks to everybody who showed up live. I don't know who Squealer is. Is that a new name? And then Trucker and some of the others. Andrew's out there. It's hard to know who's still awake because it's not like I expect you to keep chatting the whole damn time. But thanks everybody for showing up. We'll be back to pick up later.
See you.
Yeah, if you want, Erstwhile, you can jump in here. I haven't really shut it off yet. Oops. That link will work even when it's off air, I think. And then I can tell you what I'm talking about. But yeah, I got your email. I've been sewing. So yeah, thanks to everybody again. We'll be back to pick up later.